The Barclays Premier League returns on Saturday, and Manchester City won their first title in 44 years on a dramatic last day of last season. Will they be able to repeat the feat this time around?
I think Manchester City are far and away the favourites to retain their title this Premier League season. Roberto Mancini has expressed his reservations about the squad going into the season in terms of the numbers of players they've added in the transfer market. But they did prove last season that they have far and away the strongest squad in the Premier League. They've managed to keep that squad together, and with the firepower of Aguero and Balotelli, Dzeko and Carlos Tevez, they'll have no problem finishing the chances that are created for them by the likes of David Silva. Combined with that, they've added Jack Rodwell, who will add depth into the midfield and act as a replacement of sorts for Gareth Barry, who's injured at the start of the season. And City still have the strongest spine in the league, with the likes of Joe Hart, Vincent Kompany, the Defender of the Year last season, Yaya Toure, of course, and the magic David Silva, who can create chances at will.
Manchester United normally come back strong after a setback, and Sir Alex Ferguson will expect his team to be challenging once again.
Heartbreak at the end of last season for Manchester United as they lost out on the title to their City rivals by about 30 seconds worth of football. They have made additions in the shape of Nick Powell from Crewe Alexandra and also Shinji Kagawa from Borussia Dortmund. However, they have gone in for and missed out on big targets already this summer, and it's becoming a familiar theme for United under the Glazers. However, a deal for Robin van Persie still looks like it could go through before the transfer window closes. And should that happen, United will have unbelievable firepower in the shape of Rooney and van Persie to make them title contenders again next season. Combined with that, you have Nemanja Vidic returning to the United lineup. They really missed him last season, especially in games like the 4-4 home draw to Everton, which was crazy. And also they've got Darren Fletcher back to fitness, which will be a welcome boost for Ferguson, who uses Fletcher as his on-field general.
Chelsea won Europe's premier competition in May, but it could very well be a season of transition for the West London club.
Chelsea may have won the Champions League last season, but the priority at Stamford Bridge remains overhauling a relatively old playing staff. This summer they have rejuvenated the squad with Oscar, Eden Hazard and Marco Marin, and the task for Roberto Di Matteo will be to prove to Roman Abramovich that he's the man to carry this revolution forward. Didier Drogba has obviously departed for the Chinese Super League, and replacing him will be key. Not only his goals, but also his influence. And it's time for Fernando Torres to stand up and prove his £50 million price tag once and for all.
Arsenal's trophy drought is now 7 years, and with captain Robin van Persie refusing to sign a new contract, there hasn't been a shortage of headlines about the North London club this summer.
Familiar problems for Arsene Wenger at Arsenal as he contemplates losing another star player during the summer transfer window. Last season it was Cesc Fabregas and Samir Nasri who departed, and this season he may have to do without Robin van Persie. However, as opposed to last season when he was scrabbling around for talent on the last day of the transfer window, he's already got the bulk of his summer business done. Olivier Giroud, Lukas Podolski and Santi Cazorla have all been brought to the Emirates this summer, and if they can get Jack Wilshere back fit, then they'll have a chance of remaining in the Champions League places without that awful start that they encountered last season.
Tottenham changed managers in the summer, and Andre Villas-Boas will feel he has plenty to prove.
At White Hart Lane, a chance for Andre Villas-Boas to rebuild his reputation after a disastrous first season in English football with Chelsea. Ajax captain Jan Vertonghen and Gylfi Sigurdsson, who played last season at Swansea, have both been at it during the summer, but deficiencies in the striking department remain. Outside of Jermaine Defoe and Giovanni Dos Santos, Villas-Boas doesn't really have many options, although deals are still on the table for Emmanuel Adebayor and possibly Leandro Damião from Internacional.
Liverpool are another club that brought in a new manager, but can Brendan Rodgers turn his side into title challengers?
Well, it's a whole new challenge for Brendan Rodgers, who takes on the biggest task of his managerial career thus far. He's been charged with rejuvenating a Liverpool side who underachieved in the league last season. Fabio Borini and Joe Allen, two players who are well known to Brendan Rodgers, have been brought to the club, and there have been a lot of outgoings too. However, if Rodgers can get the team playing the style of football that he wants and get it quickly, then they could have an outside chance of a Europa League place.
The Premier League kicks off on August the 18th, and you can get all the latest news on goal.com.
YouTube.com/goal is full of stuff like this and proper football too. To make sure you don't miss out, just hit the subscribe button.